Now I will give the floor to Eric Aries, who was here last year. Invited. The first thing they did after Midsummer Eve was to come to Sweden, and they were showcasing some first-of-a-kind installations and also participated to this event. So Eric and a colleague was here at that time, and they cannot come one more time because they have to go to different member states, of course, but they will come hopefully another time. But they are on the line, and I hope everything now works. So I will welcome you, Eric, and colleagues, and the floor is yours. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much, Eva, and I hope that the sound is good. So first of all, good afternoon to everybody. We are very happy to be here today and to take stock a bit about what has been happening in INCITE in the past year. Before we start, I would like to thank, in particular, from the Commission, of course, Jan Kantoret, Eva Blixt, of course, and Annika for putting up this event, as well as Swedish Metals and Minerals. And we are very happy to see the very high level of participation that has been achieved in this website, in this webinar, sorry, from the Swedish EPA, Swedish Energy Agency, Swedish Agency for Economic and Regional Growth. I mean, very, very high level. And it's also an opportunity for us to enter directly into contact with research institutes like Zverim or RISE, but also with technology provider, which is very important to INCITE. So thanks a lot to have put this event together. I'm here today with two of my colleagues, José Andrés González Cuenca, and also Vanessa Ferreira Almeida. And we will try to update you on this important project for the Commission and for Europe, I think. So let's move on. Okay, so let's have a look to the program today. I will need to do, of course, a short introduction about INCITE because we are aware that maybe this year there are people who were not here last year, so we always need to do a little introduction. Look at what has been achieved in 2025. Some important stakeholder activities that we have done this year on site visits and sectoral workshops. So we need to talk about that. It's very important work for INCITE. And the information exchange. How is the information exchange working now? We have slightly evolved compared to what we were imagining to do at the start. So we need to update you on that. We will also go through the information platform. I will try to give an online demonstration. Shortly to look at several technology which have been published on INCITE, and then go back to the slide and give you an outlook for next year. Next slide, please. Okay, so quick introduction about the Innovation Center for Industrial Transformation and Emissions. As you may know, so this has been is a key element in the revised Industrial Emissions Directive, which was published in 2024. Specifically to tackle industrial transformation. In the Seville process, so the Seville process, which is used to develop the best available technique reference documents, the environmental norms for industry in Europe. As you know, we have been looking specifically at best available techniques which are widely implemented across the industry, well characterized. But I mean, this project, INCITE, is to look at innovative technology which are not widely implemented, and to really characterize them and understand a bit their environmental performance and degree of maturity. So INCITE is a project which is here to stay. It's in the directive, so that will it's established under this directive and will go on. We are interested in innovative technique for decarbonization, for example, depollution, energy efficiency, circular economy, but also efficient water and raw material use. We are interested in technology at high readiness level, between 6 and 9, and also techniques which are just commercialized. That is also very good, and we are looking also for this technology in particular. Yes, at the moment we have a focus on energy-intensive industries. It doesn't mean that we will always focus on energy-intensive industries, but we have decided to prioritize that at the start of the INCITE project because it's a priority of the moment, we believe. But other sectors from the IED will be covered later on. Next slide, please. Okay. So how do we work in INCITE? What are exactly the added value, and how is it? How do we position in a way? So INCITE is take a bit of a central role and is interacting with a number of stakeholders, so who hold information on those innovative technology. So this is very important. This information is in the hands of various stakeholders: industry, the plant operators, research and technology organization, the technology providers, which are providing the technology and selling them to industry, the member states, competent authorities, and academia. So INCITE interacts and try to get information on those innovative technology from all those stakeholders. And we are, in a way, curating this information. We want to curate this information to make it understandable to a number of people, to document, to showcase those technology. And we will do that through an annual technical report on innovative techniques that we plan to publish on a yearly basis. But also, once we finish with a specific technology, we want to publish it also on our information platform to really showcase the success stories and the very good technology which are implemented, in particular in Europe, but also elsewhere, if that is the case sometime. So what are the beneficiaries of this work? I mean, why do we do this work? I mean, first of all, we do this work because we want to push those innovative technology towards the next environmental norms, which are going to be written for industry through the Seville process. So some of those innovative techniques, emerging techniques, will be included in the future what's called BAT conclusions, or best available technique conclusions, and will have to be applied by industry. So this is very important. Also, that will help us to prioritize also the BREF, the best available technique reference document. And some of those emerging techniques will gain access to some flexible permitting rules as well. So that is important to identify them, to make sure that they get access later on to those rules. INCITE will provide, of course, a lot of visibility because we will be interacting with the stakeholders in charge of those development projects. So we will have a lot of visibility about the state of innovation in a given sector, for example. And we, of course, work in the Commission with other policy DG, like, for example, DG Research and Innovation, RTD in Brussels. And they come to us and ask us very often to give them insight about funding priorities in Horizon Europe, for example. What are the next funding priorities and so on. So we can advise them on research and innovation priorities, very important. We also have links established with some financial institutions, for example, the European Investment Bank, who also get a number of projects on their table, asking for funding. And we've been told by the European Investment Bank that they need to assess, of course, those projects, and they would benefit from our reports and publications about this technology to make their decision about funding or not projects. So that are the beneficiaries of INCITE and the benefits, of course, of this project. Next slide, please. Okay, since last year, when I was here in Stockholm, I mean, the policy landscape has evolved. You may know that, you are aware of that. The Commission has launched now the Clean Industrial Deal, Competitiveness Compass, and there are a number of measures which are under the Clean Industrial Deal, like the Steel and Metal Action Plan, for example, the Chemical Industry Action Plan, and the Industrial Accelerator Act, which should come out by the end of this year. And it is very important to note that in the Steel and Metal Action Plan, for example, in March this year, but also in the Chemical Industry Action Plan, INCITE is specifically mentioned. INCITE is mentioned, for example, the output of INCITE should be used by investors, financial institutions to decide on the technologies that would need to be promoted in the steel and metal sector. In the chemical industry, the INCITE will look at innovative technology in this sector, and the most effective and viable innovative technique would be included in the best available technique conclusion. So it is very important that INCITE is actually mentioned also It's part of the Industrial Emissions Directive, but it's also in the Commission. The project INCITE is seen as key for the clean industrial drill implementation. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's move on now about what INCITE has achieved really this year. So as you know, we launched in June 2024. We had this very successful event here in Seville. And then we launched this information platform that I will mention later in October. We had really our first big stakeholder event in May this year, in 2025. That was the first INCITE sectoral workshop on iron and steel. Very successful event. I will come back to that later. And we are about, in 2 weeks' time now, to organize the second INCITE sectoral workshop, this time on cement, lime, and magnesium oxide production. We are gearing towards this first report on innovative techniques. So we have assessed, we have received information and looked at a number of technologies. Some are already published on our website, and we want to produce this report early next year, in the first quarter. We have also the rules of INCITE that was mentioned by Eva during the introduction. This is a Commission implementing decision. Essentially, it's a document which will explain the task of INCITE, the role of INCITE, the working operating procedure of INCITE, and this document will come after in 2026 as well. So we're going to start working. We have already a draft, but we are working on that as well. Next slide. So I want to highlight now some of the key activities which are very important to INCITE, the stakeholder engagement activities. This is very important, and coming back a bit about presentation of Lars, it is clear that INCITE now provides we are an interlocutor for industry and people who are in charge of developing first of a kind installation to learn and to disseminate information about those new technology. So this is key. And that was not available before, I think, in the Commission. And this is really our role. So what we do is we also go and meet actually the people on site. So we started last year in Sweden, indeed, and we went to see Kanthal, but also Hybrid and Segra, very large iron and steel project in Sweden. We had, in February 2025, we went to Germany, Belgium, France, and we went to see a number of ArcelorMittal sites, again, on iron and steel. We also visited recently this year, in September, the first cement carbon capture plant in Brevik. So that's the first CCS project in Europe for the cement, Heidelberg site, very important. And we also starting to work on the chemicals and pulp and paper. So we had also site visits there. More recently, with the collaboration of CEFIC, we managed to get site visits in the chemical sector. We went to visit Covestro with a new polycarbonate production plant process, which was very interesting. And INEOS, which is developing Project One, which is an electric cracker, but also we visited a chlor-alkali production plant. And we have more site visits in Italy, actually next week, to look at electric arc furnace technological advancement since the last BREF, which is very important. So it's very important. The site visits, it's a way to really interact with the plant operators and really understand for us in the INCITE team the technological development. Next slide, please. Okay, another very important action from the INCITE project is putting together what we call the sectoral workshop. The sectoral workshop is a key element for us because it's a way to gather around the table all the stakeholders which are involved during the industrial transition in the development, in the innovation and development of technology. So this is very important. And this first event, we believe, was very successful. It was the first time that all the stakeholders, industry, technology provider, commission, member state, financial institution, came around the table to discuss about the decarbonization, the depollution, the circular economy progress in the iron and steel sector. It was a very successful event, more than 200 people online, 77 in person. We had 20 technical presentations, some of the biggest decarbonization projects in Europe, but also some very interesting circular economy and industrial symbiosis projects. So that was really a success, and we plan to organize more workshops on other sectors, of course, next year, but I'll come back to that later. Next slide, please. Okay, as I said, we are now preparing this second sectoral workshop, this time on 3 sectors. In fact, it's cement, but also lime and magnesium oxide. So that is a 2-day event where we will showcase a number of projects again, projects which are linked to carbon capture, for example, in the cement industry, or alternative cement materials, but also circular economy. We will have also participation of the lime and magnesium oxide industry, and with some key projects there. So it's still possible to register to this event actually online. It should be a very interesting event, and we are gearing up towards that at the moment. Next slide, please. Okay, we also this year engage significantly with the member states, because the member states also are a key stakeholder for INCITE. And over the summer, we actually had one-to-one meetings with all the member states, including with Sweden, of course, and essentially to raise awareness and understand a bit with them how they can contribute to INCITE, because this is key. I mean, in the directive, the member states shall support in the work of INCITE, so it is clear that they have a role to play. And for us, I've put here is the non-exhaustive list, but I think it's important point to understand what could be the role of the member states in the INCITE project. First of all, we think that the member states have also a lot of visibility about innovation projects, of course, in their respective countries. So they could help us to identify, to prioritize some research projects, sometimes nationally funded, to which is much more difficult for us to find information, to give us information on this type of projects, and also to help us prioritize. Germany, for example, this year gave us some information for prioritization of projects, which was very useful to us. And I think that is an important point. Sometimes member states could volunteer, and this has been the case in Sweden, to organize webinar or event like the one today, or for example, to raise the awareness and to bring national stakeholders who could participate to INCITE. And here I recall this event organized by the Swedish EPA, the webinar organized on the 3rd of June. We want again to thank you for that. This is a good example of how the member states can raise, in fact, interest for this project. Very importantly, the member state needs to participate actively to the sectoral workshop. That is key, because they are involved, of course, in the permitting sometimes of first of a kind installation. Some member states which are running competent authorities which are also involved in innovation program, innovation funding programs, can come and also advise during those workshops. And they can also present. I mean, we had a presentation from the member states which were given during the sectoral workshop on iron and steel from Germany and from Sweden as well. So that is very important. It is also very important that the member states join the site visits to first-of-a-kind installations, because it's an opportunity for them also to learn about those new innovative projects. So we tend to systematically extend the invitation when we organize site visits to all the competent authorities, so they can join, and they have joined us in Norway, in Belgium, and in many countries. And I thank them for that, because I think it was very good. Next slide, please. Okay, so let's have a look now on why do we need to share information with INCITE on innovative techniques. I mean, it may not be so straightforward, but what exactly, why do we need to do it? I mean, first of all, it's very important to understand that INCITE, as I said, is becoming a kind of central, pivotal hub in a way to get information on those innovative technology, and we will end up having a kind of on our platform key information on the innovative technology which are developed in the sectors. I think we are gearing up towards that, and it is very important that this information, the most up-to-date information, the most clear information is in a single place, because it's more accessible, and it is very important to understand those innovation. So key benefit, in fact, is to contribute to establish an assessment of the degree of innovation in a sector. We can also identify some funding gaps. So because we do not only get information on the technology itself, but we also get information sometimes on the level of funding. We get information sometimes on barriers to implementation, about permitting, legislation, infrastructure. Those are messages that INCITE can also deliver, can also pass on, if you want, to try to help to promote this technology, to help their deployment. It's very important. If we identify some barriers, we need to write about it and make sure that action could be taken later on. So another important, and that is becoming, we can see that now with a lot of people who are, a lot of projects who have participated with us, people need visibility, because there are some success stories here. We have some very, very good projects in Europe, which are at ITRL, which are close to commercialization, which can be widely deployed. And there is a lack of visibility. We need visibility. We need to talk about it. We need to showcase the benefits of those innovative techniques. And that's what we are trying to do through this INCITE annual report, but through our platform as well. So really showcase the good stories which are available. Medium to long-term benefits. That is, it takes a bit longer, but there are some medium and long-term benefits. If the technique, of course, is identified as an emerging technique, that, as I said, will give rise access to special permitting rules for the plants who will be implementing them. For example, 30 months derogation to meet some environmental norms. So that is important. Also, if it's a technique becomes a best available technique, of course, that becomes a technique with a sectoral reference, and it could be a technique which needs, if it enters a bad conclusion, which will need wide implementation. So a technology provider, for example, that is a way, of course, to deploy more of these technologies. So that's quite important. So those are the key benefits. Let's go next slide, please. Okay, so let's go more into detail now about the nature, really, of information that needs to be shared with us. Okay, so we came down now to this slide. This slide really summarizes the information that we need to describe an innovative technique well. So we need to get a technical description of this technique, and highlighting its purpose, of course, but also its benefits, compared to an alternative technological solution. So we need, of course, to compare this new technology, compared to a baseline situation, okay? And we need to understand if it's a technology for decarbonization, depollution, circular economy, or maybe the free aspects as well. So very important. We need to get information on the project which is supporting this technology, if possible. Then we need to get information on the degree of maturity. That is key. We need to understand at which technology readiness level this has been developed. Is it scalable? And what are the next steps and future development for this technology? So that is very important. A key section for us, of course, is environmental benefits. We need to understand what are the environmental benefits of this technology. We here employ an integrated approach. So this is very important to the INCITE process, which means that if someone submits to us a decarbonization technology, we do not only need to get information on the greenhouse gas emission reduction. Of course, we need information on that, it's key. But we also need to get information on potential emission reduction from NOx or SOx, on potential opportunity for circular economy, on energy or water consumption. We need to understand the overall environmental benefits of this technology. So if you are a technology provider and you want to submit information to us, we may be asking you questions about, what are the emissions of NOx from this technology, what will be your energy consumption, and so on. Don't take it badly, but it's important to understand, in fact, the entire benefits of a technology. We also ask information on the potential cross-media effects. So those are maybe trade-off, an increase in water consumption, and an increase in energy consumption, for example. We ask information on CapEx, OpEx, and simple payback period economics. And as I said, potential barriers for implementation. Those are messages that we could pass, of course, to try to resolve some issues, in particular for the deployment of technology. So those are very important messages that we also would like to hear from the plant operators and from the technology provider in charge of those projects. Next slide, please. Okay, so this slide is also important because it has slightly changed compared to last year. Last year, the message was you can go to our platform and you can start submitting information. And we have to be perfectly honest, we thought it would be working this way, but we realized that it didn't work this way because people, the platform is maybe not that straightforward to use for plant operators or for technology provider directly. So we decided to design a new way of working. Okay, this new way of working is summarized here. It's relatively simple. We tend to organize now bilateral meetings with the technology provider or project coordinator. In this meeting, generally, the person in charge is giving us a presentation of this technology. We ask questions. And after this, we ask the person in charge to give us a written submission using a template, in a Word template, where the technology can be described according to the points I mentioned before. We, together with the technology provider, the project coordinator, we refine this submission, we improve the submission, we ask for more data, we check some data as well. The INCITE team has access, for example, to Compass, which is a commission website where we can look at reports on specific projects. So we do not include data which are confidential, but we check some data to check really the benefits of some projects. And so we do this quality check. Once this, how can I say, once this document is completed, this will be included in the INCITE report, okay? But then we ask the project coordinator, for example, to create an entry in our platform, and we populate based on this document. We populate the platform for the person. So they do not have to do it. We can do it because we know where to put the information, and then we ask them to look again to make sure that they are happy with the content, and we publish the information. So this is now the process. I think it has been is working well. We can see that it's working well because submission of information is picking up. We are publishing techniques now, and people seem to be happy with the process. So we are planning to keep that going for the years to come, at least for now. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is a platform. So our platform, of course, is still ongoing. There is still the possibility to submit directly to the platform if you want to, but we may get back to you and ask you to fill in first the Word template. But you can, if you want, submit directly to the platform. We get back to you and we will organize things. So that's no problem. So the platform is there. I will after have a look a bit to the platform in the slides, so we can move to the next slide. I will come back to that. Okay, next slide. Okay, so those are some technology which have been already published on the platform, which are available. So I invite you to start looking at it. So those technology, a lot of them are from the iron and steel, because as you can imagine, we got a lot of information from the sectoral workshop and the site visits that we did in this sector. But we have also technology from the cement sector, in the mining sector. We have technology linked to the water treatment technology, cross-sectorial technology. So this is building up. Those are the technology which are published so far. We can go to the next slide. We have more technology here now, which are currently under review. Again, from iron and steel, cross-sectorial for water. In the glass sector, very important innovation fund project here that we engaged with very recently. And also some technology multi-sectorial also for non-ferrous metal. Actually, that's a submission from Sweden that we need to finalize. about the process calculation tools for metal and mining sectors. Okay, so this is actually going well. So what I propose now is I will try to go on to the, I will try to share the screen, okay? Okay, and share, I will go on to the platform. You will have to tell me, if possible, and tell me that you actually see it. Because I don't know if you see it. Yes, I think you see it now. Okay. Okay, good. So this is our website, as you can see. So, well, we have the various sections here. We have a news section on our website. We have here the announcement for the upcoming workshop on the Siemens. So you can click here and you can register online to our event. You have still 15 days to do it. It's in 2 weeks' time. So you can do that. And then here we have the innovative techniques. So you can look here at the innovative techniques which have been published. So we can go there. Okay, so the innovative techniques published always come with a location. So we can have a look at the map. I can take, for example, this one. This is a technology which was published recently, actually from a Swedish technology provider, Kanthal. We finished this technique. So you click here, and you see you have a fact sheet which appear. So this is about an electric process gas heater. It can be implemented in direct reduction of iron ore plants or blast furnaces plants, an electric heater. So it's a key technology for preheating gas in this type of furnaces. So that you get, this is how the information is displayed, the technology readiness level, the environmental purpose, the sector, activity, whether it's under development. Then we have a technical description. We have the degree of maturity, which is explained. And we have documents, supplementary documents that you can download. You have the participant company. We have actually 2 technology providers on this development, which is Kanthal and Danieli. We have actually 2 implementations which are foreseen. First one in Italy, in a small DRI plant that is being commissioned there as well. And in the Emirates still, a larger plant where it will be tested. Then we go to the environmental benefits. We have information about the greenhouse gas emissions. We have the technology which is compared. So this is, of course, a process gas heater in a DRI. So we are comparing that to a process gas heater, of course. Emissions pollutant to air, economics data. So the key point here is you get, I mean, for anybody interested in this technology, you would, of course, within 5 minutes, get the most up-to-date information on this technology, looking through this. So this is what we are trying to achieve. Showcase really the technology and advertise it and show within 5 minutes, you can look and where we are going and what has been achieved. So this is key, I think, for the INCITE project. This is what we are trying to achieve. You can also go to the table form. You don't need to follow the map. And I want to here maybe try this technology again. So this is also a technology that we just published recently. Is the SEGWEX, the technology, sorption enhanced water gas shift reduction for production of hydrogen from steelmaking process gases. It's also a technology linked to Sweden because it has been the pilot plant actually is located in Sverim. As you can see here, it's going down. Yes, located in Sverim. SSAB is also a partner in this project, and it's a very important project trying to convert post-combustion capture of CO2 and also to valorize this by production of hydrogen. So that is a very, very important project. It's part of a European funded project, which is INCITE, which is currently ongoing. And you can get here information on the benefits in terms of emission of pollutants to air, benefits in terms of energy efficiency, the benefits in terms of greenhouse gas emissions. So very importantly, it has to be said that this technology is finished. So what you see here also on the what is on the website is actually what is also written in the INCITE report, which will be published a bit later. But essentially, the text is identical. Okay. So I just wanted to show you in practice how two technology really how it is displayed and what we are trying to achieve here. So I think that's all I wanted to say for now. So I'm gonna stop sharing. Alors, how do I stop sharing? Okay, and I think you would need to go back to the slides so I can finish. Okay, I have just two slides. Okay, the next slide, please. Okay. Okay, so this is actually the last slide of the presentation. It's to give you a bit of an outlook in 2026. So very, very importantly, I mean, the key output for us is this technical report. This technical report really will be the first output of INCITE, and it's very important that we get it right. What it will contain the detailed information on the environmental performance, degree of maturity, cost effectiveness of the innovative techniques that we have been able to gather information on in 2025. It will not be an exhaustive report because it's only 1 year of operation. We are tackling 6 of the biggest energy-intensive sectors. You can understand that there is a lot of work to be done. But we have, I think, good information on the iron and steel sector. We will have more after the cement workshop, good information on the cement sector. And next year we will expand after. We want to continue to provide advice on research priority funding programs. So that's for Horizon and RFCS, for example. We sometimes also, INCITE is called by DG Competition to help with technical support for state aid applications. So they are asking us about whether this project is innovative and so on, and we try to help them as well. So that is also an activity that we have been taking up on an ad hoc basis, let's say. We will carry on that. Next year, very importantly, we want to expand work on several energy-intensive industrial sectors. So get past cement and iron and steel and move on more on pulp and paper, glass, chemicals, non-ferrous metal, and refineries. We are planning 2 sectoral workshops next year. The first one is likely, I'm not saying it is for sure, but it is likely that it will be on pulp and paper because the upcoming BREF revision of the pulp and paper has been published. And we will have to decide on which one will be the next sectoral workshop. And of course, we will carry on the site visits throughout 2026. Very importantly, also, we want to expand work on other cross-sectorial innovative techniques, in particular on depollution. We want to work more on depollution. We have been developing collaborations with, for example, the EU Water Tech Accelerator, which work with a number of stakeholders in the water area. And we want to get more information on innovative technology for water treatment, water efficiency in particular. We want to go through more engagement also with live projects, very important program, and to get more technology on depollution. Okay, so next slide, please. So just first of all, thank you once again for this great opportunity that you have given us, this great platform. Thank you for our attention. You have here our website. You can send us an email directly through our functional mailbox. Don't be scared. You do not need to start submitting information directly to the platform. If you don't want to, you can send us an email. We can have a meeting. We can discuss with you and you can explain to us the technology and we will guide you through the submission process. So that's no problem. We are always here to help and we really want to showcase the success stories and the good technology of the future. I think this is key. And we also want to pass information which are key to legislators in Brussels also, which are part of the Commission, but we also need to pass information because we are on the technical side and our mission is to give advice to the policy side. And so if there are barriers to implementation, it is our mission in INCITE to pass on those messages. And this is why this project is also key, because you can tell us what are the key issues, and we can try to pass that on in our report. Okay, so I wanted to finish on that. And thank you very much. And I think I've been too long, but thank you very much.
Thank you, Eric. It's good that you say it yourself, that you have been too long, so I didn't need to say it. No, it's okay. You're still on time. The problem is there is not so many minutes for questions, but you are here full day today. You will be here with 2 colleagues. Maybe we can put them on the screen as well, so we can see them all, so they are not hiding. But anyway, we have time for a few questions, and then if you have a question, all of a sudden, just raise your hand later, even if it's in the panel here. All of a sudden someone thinks, oh, I didn't get what Eric said. Then we just leave here and go to online, and Eric or Vanessa or Jose will reply. So this is what you are part of the team, and you have different responsibilities. Eric is, of course, you might understand that, very into the details for iron and steel. That's why he's doing the presentation today. Okay, anyone that wants to start with a question? Okay, yeah, go ahead, Christina. We will have a mic. Yes. Introduce yourself.
Okay, yeah. Hi, Christina Jönsson from RISE. Thank you very much for a nice introduction to INCITE and also presentation. Eric and colleagues, I have a question around, you mentioned that there is a really nice mechanism for capturing barriers to implementation or scale up or market introduction, I guess, for novel technologies. But you also mentioned, when it came to advising the research community and research funding, technology gaps, how to identify them. So I just wonder, what kind of mechanism do you have for really identifying technology gaps needed, I guess, for sustainable development within different sectors? Thanks.
Excellent question. Who wants to reply from your side in Seville? Jose,
well,
maybe?
I can. Okay.
Or Eric, yeah, whatever. You have to find it.
For example, just to change faces on the screen. So I'm Jose Gonzalez, very pleased to be here today. And as Eric has said, thank you very much for this event. In particular, I'm taking care of the chemicals within INCITE, although we all support all sectors, but just for you to know who is behind each sector. So just in response to your question, Christina, that is very relevant, we are having different mechanisms to get that. The most important one is that bilateral interviews that we are having with the project leaders and coordinators. No? This is the best way to really have an input of the potential problems that the projects are having. No? Also, the site visit that Eric presented are a real example of how we can get closer to industry. So we go to these site visits to see the real performance of the project, but also to listen directly from industry what were the problems in scaling up the projects, deployment, and so on. So this is also very important. And another source for that is also key, is the workshop. This is another very important part. The workshop we organize in different pathways, so it's an opportunity to present initiatives and solutions, but also organize in pathways in such a way that we can also discuss during those final part of each pathway, what are the problems, if the pathway, whatever it is, no circularity, electrification, what are the problems that this particular, not just the technique, but the pathway is having in the sector to really achieve full targets. No?
Okay, thank you, Jose, for that. I think also we can help you with that in the room. We are 70 people here in the room, so we might send in some barriers to you as well. Thank you. There was Johan. Maybe introduce yourself.
Thank you. Johan Schülerschana. I'm the Director General of the Swedish EPA. I mean, you start to gather some experience now after working on this for 1 year. And of course, one of the critical success factors is really to get industry on board, to get companies on board. And I know that this has partly been a challenge. I mean, we have to spread out to other sectors. Can you say what your experience is now in terms of motivators, incentives? What seems to be working in order to get really the key actors on board? What are the, I mean, there are barriers for that as well, but what are the incentives that you see are success factors also from other countries and your experience there?
Well, maybe I can.
Yeah, go ahead.
Try to respond. Yeah. Okay. Thank you for the question. And yes, of course, there are always barriers. But I have to say that we had meetings with all industry associations right from the start in this project. And it is fair to say that we have a very good support from all industry associations on this project. Eurofair, I take an example. Eurofair has set up a technical working group to support the work of INCITE, which brings together plant operators and also technology providers. And this is a way to help us, to support us, and we get access to them, and they help us to set up site visits and so on. So I think this is good. We have the same also with CEFIC. Very recently, we had a very successful event. I mean, maybe Jose, you can maybe expand a bit on that after. So we see a good support from all industry, but it is fair to say also that sometimes we see a reticence because we have projects. It depends a bit on the status of the project. When you have a project which is only starting, for example, let's say an innovation from projects, which is planned for 4 years, and it has only been going on for 1 year. So we may engage with them, but of course, it's only starting, so this is a bit of a barrier. They don't want to share information, so this is a bit complicated. So we need to engage with the projects when they are at the end to understand what has been the output, the outcome of this project, and make sure that they understand that it's important that they disseminate the information to showcase what has been achieved. I mean, this is key. There are sometimes some reticence, but we are trying to work through it. It's not always easy, but I think overall the response has been okay, to be fair.
So thank you, Eric. I think also if you are part of being active in the European Industry Organization, then you are a part of that. If you're not so active as industry there, you are not a part of it, and then you can be excluded. But I think also the question is coming a little bit more from how can we be sure that all the Swedish examples that we have will be on the program, on the workshops. This is what we are asking for, but he was asking much more polite, I think, Johan. But I'm not shy, you know that, you know me, Eric. So we want to be part of, and I was part of Eurofair, so it was easy for me to bring all the Swedish, we will hear more about that, Swedish examples. But if you're not very active, then it's not so easy. So it's sort of also, how do you connect directly with all our technology providers that we have in the room, the researchers that we have here, without being needed to go via industry, which is a bit odd to say for me being industry, but just to explain, I think. Do you have any advice there?
Well, yeah, I think what is important, I think, in INCITE is, at the end of the day, those innovations are developing, key technology, which sometimes are not, I have to say, sometimes they are not fully well understood by everybody. I mean, this is new. Those innovations are new, and we need to understand how they are working, what are their benefits, what are their impacts. Because if we do not have this information at hand, it's very difficult to start making decisions on the policy side, for example. And so it is very important to get this information. And INCITE really, the role of INCITE is to really give that. I think that's what is important. And yeah.
Okay, thank you. I mean, time is really running quick now. We're 3 minutes already losing time, but you will be there, and all the other questions that you had, I saw it was many hands. So we have more questions for you, but I think we should also keep the time. That's why I'm the moderator here, trying to keep track of the time. So I think we stop the questions now, and we keep the questions so we remember them, and we will come back to them. So with that, a big thank you so far, and we will continue to work. Thank you.
Okay.